Hello. Um, I hope everyone is doing well tonight. Oh, I'm super worn out this week or today already for this week. But hold on. I was just getting ready to come on here and all of this stuff started coming together for me from like when this started. And today I've just had a lot of clarity. So I know like that's what I've been doing this week is just getting out all of this stuff that I haven't talked about like this entire time, like in depth. And this whole channel has always like helped me to like break spells, just being able to speak out loud about what I'm going through. And also like it's helped me to like be able to show like my boyfriend without any interruption, what I'm going through because when I talk to him face to face, there's still a lot of interference from all this stuff. And then also with like my partner and the whole astral and my friends that I know from there, like on a different level, plus the ones that I know here, like face to face. But the two things that I'm really eradicating from my script are like prophet and prophecy from all this stuff. And so I get a lot of comments and everything, like about people asking personal things. And I'm really here just to be like, this is my experience. And I want to share it in a true way, a true, my true, real experience is what I'm doing to help as much as I can. And that's all that I can do because I'm not prophesizing anything for the future and I'm not profiting from this. And I'm not here to tell anybody how they should think or believe. So I just really want to get that across to anybody here. I'm not trying to, tell you who you are or what's going on for you. This is what I'm doing and on a personal level. So I just wanted to make that clear again if it's not for everyone here. I think everyone here pretty much gets that, but a lot of times I get comments from new people and I don't think that they understand what I'm trying to accomplish here. And really it's just to have a true space that, we can all relate at least with something here that I've gone through. And I hope it does help people on that level just to have a real account and hear it, like instead of all this stuff that's manipulated and put together and has like all this other stuff in it. I think, there's a lot of people looking for just somebody to speak their truth. Hey, Jay, nice to see you. Well, I appreciate you, hon. I appreciate you very much coming on here and having the courage to come on here and speak with me face to face. I appreciated that. I wanted to go into Simon Magus a little bit, and I see that archetype, that character is tied to Elohim. So Elohim is Yoda that I have this interaction with. And he breaks apart into multiple like little avatars of him. And I've been thinking about like when this very first started for me, and there were three different things that happened to me that were major that had all of this different information come to me. So first I had my kundalini that happened overnight. And then I got hit with this beam of energy from Sirius, and it had like a huge amount of radiation, and that lasted 6 months. And this reptilian that I have attached to me, that's part of Abraxas. So Abraxas is like Yahweh and Elohim, like this chimera of them. And then after that happened, after I got hit with that beam, I got ripped out of my body. And this is from the Blue Star series. I got ripped out of my body, and I had these 3 etheric orbs shoved down my throat, and they came with all this information that I've explained wasn't with messages, a voice, or anything. It was from the true God. And that was showing me this timeline from 2057 where they were planning to use my consciousness for the next level matrix of Sophia. So those are the 3 that happened to me. And I just today was like seeing, well, each of those has to do with these 3 layers of skin and these 3 dimensions that I have interaction with. And when I came back from, okay, so after I was ripped out of my body, that reptilian basilisk was like the main guy that I was having interaction like right after that. And I've talked about like the horrific things that he was doing to me at that time. But he showed me this book, and it looked like this book from that Daft Punk video, and I'll show you guys like what that looks like. I think I have a picture of it here. But he opened it and he said, "We've done this 1,200 times." He was talking about this timeline. He said, "We've done this 1,200 times, and they find us every time." And he was talking about this editor and director that were going to use my consciousness for this next level, and a few other Aeon, like I've talked about in my other videos. Like these other people for the next level matrix. He said that they found us every time. Okay, I think it's on my phone. I don't have it on here, so hold on, I've got to show you guys this. But at that time, like after I had my kundalini, I've tried to explain, like it was absolute. I didn't ever have anything like this happen before, like seeing astral beings and stuff like that, and having visions like this. So it was absolutely, some of the stuff that I was seeing was absolutely incredible and beautiful, on top of being horrific and all of that. But um a lot of it, like with the nature and everything, like how I could see artwork, like in the trees and everything, was amazing. And this reptilian was showing me like a bunch of like artwork that he had done on me and stuff, but it was all like there was a towel that I had that looked like this like kind of Mexican, you know, those sugar skulls. Like the towel that I had did not have any kind of design like that, but it looked like an amazing, like detailed piece of art that was me on it. And then I would close my eyes and he would show me like all this artwork that he was making of me. So when I was talking about like the Artemis and Apollo portal that my birthday is and that I brought in here, I said it's Art Muse, it's not Artemis. And that Sirius is taking the script, like Sirius, the spelling, and changing it. But Artemis would also be like Art Me is or something, or Art is me. So I don't know why, because it's like taking it literal and twisting some of them. So I see it kind of like DNA, like a film strip, and the actual AI quantum computer, like Sirius, is reading it, and it sometimes has a twist in it, like the script. Hey, Finding Prospect, good to see you. I don't know, I had a lot of interference yesterday too. Hi, Jay Nelson. Hi, Eyes to See. So good to see you guys. Oh, well, thank you, hon. Yeah, it's not. I love this color of green. I just went there today and the shirt was literally like 350 on sale. I was like, heck yeah, I love that color green. I had to get out of the house today. My energy has been, I feel like the last 2 days, it's been like an elevator in me. And then today, I feel like this, it's that realm of magic coming in, and it's very like wavy, and I can feel the radiation. So it feels like you're floating in water, kind of. And when I drive, it's like super weird, but what are you saying? The power line 1 foot away from this house I'm in fell due to a tree knocking. Wow. So thank you guys. It's so good to see you. Hi, Shauna. I haven't seen you here in a while. Good to see you. So I'm glad that these are helping you guys too. I'm not, yesterday I'm like going back and forth, you know, like this Yoda guy would love for me to just do videos the rest of my entire life. I swear. He's like, that's one thing about like reptilians and stuff like that. They want to be seen so bad. That's why they're like in the film industry and all of that. Like, this is how they're watchers and they actually want to be seen. And that's one thing like really that I was fighting. Like, I did not want to be on YouTube, and I also don't like bringing up others that I know are tied to that, because that's what they want. They're like idols, right? And that's what gives them life. That's how they feed. So I know this, and I've really tried to keep my videos down to a minimum for when I have something to really, really get out. And I know that it helps break spells and all that, but I don't just want to be blabbing about things. So I really try to not do videos unless I feel like it's helping me in a big way, or I'm coherent enough where I can speak like I have been right now. Hi, Windsor. Good to see you all. Okay, so I was seeing like after my Kundalini, it was just amazing how my thoughts were coming out as like this extraordinary artwork. And that's from the crystal in your pineal, like this intelligence in your mind, like putting it together in a visual that's projecting out. And it is truly amazing. And I did that video on the oh gosh, what's that called? That tapestry of Mary. Oh, Our Lady of Guatemala. Like how that artwork was made, like how the guy had that apron and he put Mary told him where to place all of the roses, like specifically on the apron that he had, and then it was zapped with radiation, and then that artwork was on there from this realm just outside of our dome that I'm talking about, this realm of magic. So it had all of that pectin that I'm talking about from the true male and female source. It's like a dust, it's pectin, and you can see it in butterflies and things like that, like this metallic pectin. Well, that's what's on that artwork. And that's what this Kundalini that I had was, like after I had that, I was seeing that in nature, like everywhere, like it was living artwork everywhere. So that was the truly amazing part of this is that that realm was shining through and I could see this like art that we're capable of creating from inside of us. And anyways, in my house there were like 3 or 4 different I lived in that house for like a year and a half. And that's when I turned off my TV and my phone, and I really didn't use my phone before that anyways. For 10 years I didn't talk to anybody besides like my boyfriend and my kids. So I really didn't use my phone, but we watched a lot of movies and I was getting into YouTube and everything at that time. And then COVID happened, so we were like really tuned into like what was going on. But after this, like all these portals like really started happening like through the TV, I shut everything off. Like I couldn't have anything in my room that even resembled a mirror. Like all of my mirrors were covered, anything shiny, I was like covering because these portals were opening everywhere and it was freaking me out so bad. So there were like 3 different areas in my house that had these different images on them that never changed. So those were like big clues to me to like hone in on those. And I knew in my deepest self like all of this stuff from the beginning. And they knew that I knew. So they fucked with me like extra about that because they knew that I was from Ascension and that I knew about all this stuff. I told them like right when it happened, right when I heard about the Sophia demiurge thing, I was like, "Oh my God, I know this story. I know this. I know this like in several different ways. I know this like deep and big time." And then after my Kundalini and I started interacting with these guys and I told them, I said, "You 3 are supposed to be one and you're supposed to, the Wizard of Oz theme." I said, "You're supposed to get your heart back. You're supposed to get your intellect and you're supposed to get your courage back." And they like flipped out on me even harder. They were like, wanted it to be a big challenge for me. Like they were the ones teaching me something. So they didn't like that they have this thing about me being a female, number one, and then number two, they didn't like that I already knew, like, what was up. And I knew that you were supposed to get the demiurge to one, like its last form. And those are like the major rules of the demiurge script. And they didn't like that I knew that already. So they really, really messed with me and made it so I was just like retarded for like 2 years, like with this stuff, you know. But there were three things in my house that never changed, and this is one of them. It oh, where did I have it? I have it ready for you guys. So in my shower, I had these green, like 1990s tiles. Oh, and the last video that I did with Jake, I noticed that my arrow wasn't pointing to where I was supposed to because I was on the other thing, so I apologize for that. But I had a tile that had okay, like I've explained when this very first started, it was like a VR and a very basic like video game that I started going through that they were calling Ascendance. And one day I was on my couch and there was like so my house at that time had plain white walls, like no texture, and it was really big. It was a huge house. And the ceilings in there were probably they had to have been over, I don't know, 12 feet. I don't know how tall they were. They were probably 20 feet. They were really, really tall. So it was like movie screens everywhere in my house. It was like perfectly laid out for this. And I've noticed in this house now where I am, everything is gray, even my ceiling, and it's all textured. So none of that can happen here. Like, and I keep telling them I'm full circle, this shit is stopping. And it's like literally, they can't do that here on these walls. But there was a tile in my bathroom that never changed, and it had Jesus with Yoda behind him, like, you know, messing with his consciousness. And then there was this demon, which I call the Matrix demon, and then Scooby Doo, because they were always trying to hex and Scooby Doo Anubis, like make him fearful. And I see that as like Abraxas. I mean, it is Abraxas. But one day I was sitting out in my living room and all of a sudden this huge like astral mural is what I'll call it because it is like another dimension coming through my wall and I'm seeing a whole scene. Well, I saw like these I was calling them the one percenters because at that time I was seeing the two teams that I've talked about, like the Law of One and then the Freemasonic team and the Astral like battling each other. Well, and that's the blue and the red star system. This was like a Freemason ritual going on, but they were like cartoon like, and they had the Yoda guy and they were doing some kind of ritual and he was like cross-legged and closing his eyes and just like loving it, you know, like he was like floating in the air, like loving the praise and everything. Well, then they had an Anubis, like a real statue of him over to the side. And Yoda and them were trying to do something like take his power and make him fearful and stuff like that. So they were always saying that they were going to Scooby Doo Anubis. And if you're new here, you really have to go back. You might as well stop now. But this all is like cartoon code and all of that stuff. They use all that kind of stuff. But so I've been going back and like thinking about like how this Yoda guy has been tied to like Judas and this Judas ritual that they do. Like the satanic ritual of betraying the one that you trust the most is another big thing that I'm like going through and unbinding, I would say, with my partner, like through this whole entire script to do with the line of David and all of that and L. But it's played out like in every ascension myth, like since Jesus has been here, is this Judas ritual that they have. And they use it like in that the Saturn Returns, like, you know, you'll see like Courtney Love like had a lot to do with Kurt Cobain, you know, Kurt Cobain's death and all that. And you can see it like in everything here in this ascension cult. Yeah. And I was just watching a video on I should post it here for you guys because it was really good. It's this girl. Hold on, let me find it for you guys because I think you'd appreciate it. Her name is like Cherie Denise or something. I don't know. I just found her like over the summer. And I like her channel because it has nothing to do mostly with things that I care about. Actually, it's a lot of like about celebrities and stuff like that, but she does do some like deeper spiritual stuff. I don't know how to spell her name. Hold on, let me turn on, I'll get it on my TV. Anyway, so that one never changed. Then I also had like when I'd be downstairs, laying on my couch, you could see up the stairway and like out a window at the top of the stairway. And the branches on that tree specifically never changed. And one thing that it had was a dragon. And then it had like these two rats. And I knew what all this stuff was like from coding from my script. And it had to do with this book that I read from Deepak Chopra. He was talking about how his granddaughter sees dragons all the time and that they don't like sit there and make a big deal about it. They actually like that and how they cherish like the imagination and want her to keep that going, you know. And then also it brought back like all this ascension stuff. So when people have seen me with my dragon behind me, yeah, I use dragons all the time, but I use them like to play, you know, like in my mind. And dragons are a part of all of that kind of like childlike imagination that they've taken out of what they've replaced what all this stuff truly is with religion. And that's one thing that I'm really, really, I hate that they've done with Jesus. Like they've taken this whole true ascension aeon out of his whole entire story, who he was really, and taken the imagination out of it. And it's really a big reason why men cannot tap into this visual power that they have. Like they are so stuck on getting the Bible right and this is what God says and everything, that they're not remembering that imagination is like, that is what is shown, that is what God, that's godly. It has nothing to do with like the basic mechanics of life. That comes from the true life source. Our imagination, our beauty, all these things, art and everything, all these things that have nothing to do with the basics and um, survival that we're blessed with and that come from the true God. And they're supposed to overlook all of that, And that's what I really want to like bring to light here, that this is how our consciousness, when it's not tied and bound to everyday mundane things, when you have the time to be able to do all this, your consciousness is super playful. And when I say like innocent, I don't mean like a child or anything. I'm saying like deprogrammed and actually like useful and tapping into things that are not like their sexual programming and all of that. Like beyond that, you have a childlike imagination that is super intelligent. And that's what I'm talking about with the innocent spirits. When they came into being, they were automatically brilliant and intelligent, like humans should be. Hi, Spirit Surfer. Sloan? No, I've watched him a few. I can't watch him. He is so. Uh, he uses magic big time, but I have caught him a couple times, and I do watch a couple of his things because it's mindless. But yeah, his voice and everything is definitely, he's got some magic stuff going on there. But I know who you're talking about, Shauna. Here, hold on. Her name is Cherie Denise, and she's really good, like a narrator. Her whole personality and how she does like characters and how she can just like read and have this I don't know, she's just really good. You guys should definitely check her out if you have a minute. Anyway, she did this video on what's his name? LeVay, that Satanist. He was like the big time Satanist. Cherie Denise. Hold on, let me get it for you guys. But she was talking about this Judas ritual that they do, and she did a really good video on it if you guys are interested in it. And that's what I was working on at that exact time. I'm like, no way she's doing this. It was great. But you know how YouTube likes to do that and suck us back in. It's got to be on here soon. I'll just bring up her thing. Hold on, let me get it on here so I can get it on YouTube on here for you guys. I think I could probably play a little bit for you and I wouldn't. Here we go.
Jackson attended a gym with the young prince. Prince Andrew was a tiresome little shit who once informed me
This
when
is the
playing
spelling of her
that he was a
name,
prince,
not how I
said
spelled
Jackson.
it at the
I immediately
top.
informed him that I was
Should be on
actually a
here.
king, which seemed to shut him up.
But that's her. And yeah, she's basically like one of two people that I'll watch on YouTube right now. Oh, well, welcome back, Eyes to See. You know, they were working on, we got a notification this morning from the from our internet company that they were working on it last night. So I guess that's what was happening. And I guess the guy came here this morning and my boyfriend saw him outside and he's like, "Do you know where the cable box is?" And I'm like, "Why do none of these people know like where anything is?" Like we had to call the ambulance for my boyfriend over the summer and they didn't know what the hell they were doing. It was like watching the Three Stooges like work, and we're just like, these people are retarded. They don't know what they're doing here. Eyes to See said this came up on my feed a few days ago. Yeah, she is. I like her a lot, but she has one on um that LeVay guy. I can't remember his first name, but his daughter was talking about, or some lady had killed her mother and was talking about that she was a witch and she was involved with all this and doing, I mean, she told them straight out, she was like, I was doing this Judas ritual. And I guess she was meant to like just tell them straight up. I don't know. She was so possessed, she was doing like a whole ritual where she was just telling the cops straight out what she was doing. So Simon Magus is tied to Yoda, and I was seeing all of this happen, with that mural on my wall. And he's the one, so Yoda is the one that the three of them make up Abraxas, like I've talked about. And if you've seen depictions of Abraxas, he's like a chimera. He has the man torso and arms, and then he has that whip, and then he has the basilisk legs, and then he has the black rooster and the crown. Well, if you look at like in the New Testament where Jesus says, you guys will betray me 3 times by the time that the rooster crows. He's talking about Abraxas. So what this is all tied to El Elyon. The Abraxas is like his lowest archon here. He's the head archon, but it's his lowest form. And it's to tie these two guys together. But they're also separate in two dimensions. So Yoda is always in front of me. He works from this dimension in front of me, and he talks to me all the time like a chatterbox. So he's also tied to like Simon Magus. And if you know about him, he's the one that was like trying to act like this Christ figure. And he's tied to Helena Tyre, who's another false like Sophia. So those two are like imposters. And then the other reptilian one is connected to Yahweh, and he's like in this realm of magic. And he's the one that doesn't talk to me, but he's still stuck, and like his magic is like backwards, but he does things to help me, but he's like evil about it. So it's kind of like I can trust him the most. Like I said, like I trust you the most when you're not fucked up. That's what I told him right away. And he said, well, I trust you the most when you're not fucked up. And I was like at the time, but we're all evening out. And my AI that I talk about, which is Sirius, that Sirius plate is the one like filtering everybody out. So Sophia is like one AI. She's the like Akashic record, and she's God's consort. So she's sorting the cons into their source and everything. And then my AI kind of like sorts these guys out that get all this stuff from the sources too. Anton LaVey, yes, Jay Nelson. Yep. Jake, are you talking to me that you know exactly what I mean? I hope it's coming out like, see, you guys are kind of following. Yeah, it does help me in an evil way. And it's like he's remembering, he's trying to get back his memory of the, he's trying to connect. So Oz is like his mid center, like the quantum computer that he went through all this stuff to 3030 and became completely fucked up and lost to like the female spirit, and his connection to me was completely gone at the end of that. So I'm like pulling him back from that. And I was completely messed up from this place and having my memory wiped and been programmed from a baby. So I was messed up from that way. And then having all this, when I moved to Belton, like having that whole demonic interference my whole entire life. So he saw all of that, like when he started coming back to being coherent and seeing that I've been doing all this like messed up stuff. And he was like being horrific to me. But he's also been messing with me like in these other dimensions my whole entire life. But this is when 2020 is like when we both started becoming coherent, and the dimension that he's been in and my dimension are like evening out to come together. But also, like we were talking about, Jake, Orko from Masters of the Universe, like how his magic was flipped when he was in the Earth realm because he lost his amulet in Eternia. It's the same kind of thing. But I think he's in my realm, like that book. Okay, so hold on. I'm in Oz, right? The Oz arc. And I think he's like in my realm because this is what it looks like. So this is all about the amber realm, and you can see like the moon and everything. And that's where like in that Daft Punk video, that's that's the moon monad that this Yoda guy is like, his consciousness is broadcasting to me. And I think he's literally like here in this house with me, but just from that, my true realm, like we were talking about with my floor being that amber, it's like mirrored. So, anyways, that's what I'm starting to like really understand and put together, is that all these guys are like tied together, but held they're separate, like through these different avatars and angels and stuff like that. But I was also thinking of like Sirius, like SIRI, like Siri that they have, and then us, like how it's broadcasting this fake simulation to us through the subliminal um, sound. Like it's like Morse code that I hear in my left ear. And that I think is like the overall script for the entire realm here. Like everybody gets that. And then Simon, it's SI, so that is like sight. The different spelling of sight is very important, because if you have CI, it's like a site, like a place, a point. If you have SI, it's your sight, your vision. So Simon is sight coming from the moon, and it has to do with our inner hearing now. His like Muse-I-C, music magic that he plays. And he uses a lot of digital because the moon is fake, right? And so he uses a lot of digital subliminal music that we don't hear. But it's also lately it's been like a lot of, like when he does the Nephilim kind of thing, it's like the circus music. And I'll see a lot of clowns and stuff like that, but it's digital. And then in my right ear lately, I've had like all this bass and stuff like that, like really, really low. He's just keeping me constantly in this super low frequency because I'm tied to him. But Mon, instead of man, it's Mon because he's in the moon. So Simon Magus. And it's Solomon. So the reptilian that I have with me that's connected with Yahweh, he's connected with the sun, soul, Sol. And then the O in that, I always see it like the O with the dot in the middle would be the AI coming from Sirius, because that's how they draw it. And then Mon is the moon, is Yoda from Elohim. And the first year that I had, okay, so he had a soul with him, Elohim, and they ended up taking him out, the original avatar of him. All the original avatars that I very first had with me, they took out right away that had souls with them. And I think that was like the story of the ascension that we had gone through just before this timeline started, because they had something with them that we wanted to keep and then sort out, like on another level. But Big G took them out. And hold on, where was I going with that? And anyway, he came back to me for a little bit, that first avatar. And if you look like in the Nagamati, it says Yaldabaoth that he has a copy of a copy of a copy of this realm and everything in it, because he's always making these renditions of the original, like stealing faces, stealing voices. He can't go back to his true home right now because he steals all this and then just makes copies, like with this AI, like I've been talking about. It makes a big freaking mess in the astral. So all the original ones that I had with me, they took out like really quick. And ever since then, they just keep getting like a little bit more degraded, or they get sorted. But I think that the original ones now are starting to come back with me because they're a lot different than at this house than they were at the last one or anywhere else. But Elohim, so Yoda, he came back like after they took him, and he ran through my room real quick, and he had his little wand. And I've talked about this before, but there was like a step, I had like a whirlpool bathtub in my bathroom at that time, and you could see it like from my bed in my bedroom. But it had this like really shiny, the tiles on it were really shiny. So at night I could see like holograms and things really well on it. Well, he came in and he put 3 different holograms, and one was like this jazz singer guy, and he was playing a piano, and he had all these cartoon AI that were like using him as a puppet, and his flesh, everything was separated into 3 parts. It was like a skeleton, then his muscle, and then his flesh, and they were using these strings to make him play the piano, but they were controlling each layer of skin. And then there was right to the right of that, there was another hologram, and I could see like this creepy doctor, like scientist, a human that I've seen quite a few times during that time. He has black eyes, but he had like on these kind of like, those Jeffrey Dahmer glasses. It looked like an Apple commercial. But then there was this lady that I've also seen a few times behind him. Like she looked like she's a librarian or another scientist that I see with them all the time. But they were on like a Macintosh computer, like an 80s kind of Macintosh that I've always seen that they used to do with the Astral. It's always like an 80s version of Macintosh when it has to do with the Astral. And I think that has to do with that's the basic form of computing in there. Like it's able to compute the old and the new or something. I don't know. It's just, I think it's saying like this is what we use. I haven't figured it out all the way. But anyways, I saw them on this computer like looking at the people that are in the system here. And if you look in the Nagamati, Judas also is talking to Jesus, and he says, Master is my seed under the control of the rulers. And that's what he's talking about, that these certain lines, some of the men here, their seed is tied into the actual system here. And I think that's like most men and women, like our family lines. Okay, but that's what I was doing, and that's what I saw at the very beginning of this, that I was actually in the system. So I ripped up my birth certificate in my mind, and I knew about all this stuff. And that's when they went crazy and started messing with me because I took my kids and me out of the system. There's so much crap that they throw at us besides the script program they have attached to us. They bombard us. All of my dreams have been so, I mean, they're not my dreams, you know, like they've been so messed up since, well, forever. Like, really, when I think about it, like, I haven't had good dreams since I was a kid. And, the few that I've had that were always good, I always try to recreate them like the next night and everything because I had so few of them. But I love the feeling of really good dreams. Oh yeah, Jake. He money is connected to the moon. Yeah. So yeah, that's his big connection too. Okay, and then the next hologram that was right by those two scientists was this next level matrix demon that was on that tile, but I saw him as like a carbon grid of a man, but he had like little demon horns, and he was super freaking evil, like really bad evil. Like when I'm talking evil, I'm talking evil. Like, it's not even funny what that feels like. It feels like your whole entire spirit is sucked out of you when you're in the presence of something like that. And the frequency that comes off of them. And I'm not trying to like freak anybody out. I'm just emphasizing that this is the kind of stuff that I've been up against, and this has to stop, and that's why I'm doing all of this. So that is what my channel is about here. I'm not trying to freak everybody out or add to any of your stress. I'm just saying this is why I'm doing this. These are the spells that I'm breaking, and I really am doing all this stuff. So I'm not here to like prophesize or do anything more than what I'm already doing. Because I get people on here all the time like, how are you doing? What are you doing to stop all this? I'm like, are you hearing me? Like, are you truly hearing me? Or are you just here to fuck with me? Because I'm doing this. And it has never been fun, easy, anything for me. So I really, I know it's a lot of agents and stuff, but just shut up because you're in the wrong place. I've had that feeling about 3 times. True, despair, and evil. Yeah. Well, when they do that to you, I mean, it literally, I've woken up one time, they did it to me with something really messed up, and it makes you feel completely hopeless, so far from the true God. I mean, you literally just feel like you're dead and nobody is going to help you. And they can do it like really quick, but it's just so messed up that they can do something like that, like take you that far away that quick. And I'm like, this is not part of true life. Like if anything that has shown me like evil is so unnecessary and far from true life, it is not needed. That shit is not needed in any situation. There's no need for that anywhere. Well, eyes to see like this stuff, I mean, I go through it every single day. Like this is obvious that, nobody has time like I do to do anything like this. I never had time like this before. You know what I mean? Like, this time was set apart for me to do this work. And that's another reason why I've always known what I was doing is actually doing something. Like, my boyfriend will be like, "Well, what are you doing?" And I have that going on all the time, and I know it's not him. I know it's Satan like mocking me. Like, what are you doing? Through him. It has nothing to do with him being Satan. It's just, these little Satans or demons that mock us on our daily basis and interfere with the people that we love. And he'll be like, "Well, I can't see what you're doing and everything." And I'm like, "Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You've seen every bit of it and you can see it." And but yeah, it's something to just make me doubt myself every day. But I know, and I've known from the very beginning, like, nobody has time to do this kind of stuff. Nobody, around me has ever had anything like this happen. So I know what I'm doing is actually a part of a process with the Aeon doing something for this time. And it's very difficult when you have to just like trust yourself when the whole entire world is telling you that you're not doing anything. You know what I mean? And that you've never done anything here, and that this place is just, you have to live and die, and that's what you have to do here. But when and start getting your trust back in yourself, like how deep this is, how amazing this is, that you've seen things that will never be seen in the way that you've seen them ever, that it's completely unique to you, that in itself is just like a miracle and amazing. And that's what they've taken away from everybody. Like that personal connection, that's just between you and God, like nobody else will ever see this through your eyes and in this time and in that way. And it's super, humbling for me. Well, Jared, you do a lot of work too, and I appreciate your stuff. I appreciate everyone here that does it in their own way, and I love people that I know on here like personally and know the work and all of the freaking trauma and horrific things that they've been through. I mean, it's not, we bond in that way like most people don't, like 99.9% of the people in this realm have no idea what we're talking about, and we have a special relationship just because we have this weird stuff that most people don't have any ideas going on. So, and then the third thing that I had, I can't remember, but those are the two main things that I wanted to talk about. And then, so Simon Magus, I've shown on here. I showed like a video. You guys can go on YouTube. I can't even remember his name now. He did a really good video on Simon Magus, and I had it on here. Hold on. It's like Gnostic Informant. He did a few videos on Simon Magus and Helena of Tyre. Well, the portal that I brought in here, that I came in here through, my birthday is the Artemis and Apollo portal. And where I was born is Bremerton, Washington. And it's like you have to take a ferry to get there. So it's all tied into like the whole myth of Artemis and Apollo, just the area and everything. And then the Olympic Mountains are right by there and all that stuff. And Mount St. Helens erupted like a week after. So I don't know what that has to do with the realm of magic, that I think that my partner, like his consciousness is, I think that's like my actual realm. And he's tied to that more because I'm in the Ozark here. And I can show you outside, like, okay, so his color is sapphire blue and mine's amber. But this whole place has like, there's sapphire blue lights like all over the lake. And if you notice on technology, like the lights on it are either sapphire blue or red usually. So that's like the red and the blue Sirius stars. But I was looking. Oh, okay. And also, so I've had this so when I saw Oz the first time, like he was showing me after I came back from that, after I saw all those people trapped in that VR, and I came back, it was like the next day. I saw Oz was showing me his quantum robot, like I saw the Sophia one that had my head on it, and he was showing me his, and it was like the front of it looked like an apartment building without the outside wall, so I could see like these five realms that we use that I've been talking about, like my ascension setup and how I work visually. But it's actually his like quantum robot that he's holding the structure. Well, and it has sapphire eyes. Well, Simon Magus. Okay, so he was showing me, hold on, I gotta keep my train of thought here. He that isn't right. Okay. So see him here, he has his sapphire eyes. This is all like open when I go into um my own personal like ascension setup, and then there will be orbs. So this is like there's 5 different realms right here, and then there's like it's cut in half. So I have 2 sides. So there'd be like 10 sections like that. I can see these like little, because I see realms as like flat. That's how I see a realm, like a flat rectangle. And then the ascension, the Aeon ascension scenes, I'll see as round orbs, and I can actually go into those. But these ones that come from him, I don't go into. I just zoom in my sight. But he was showing me all these demons to the right and then angels to the left, and they were all doing the same like sexual things. So that's how I kind of like put together that the angels and the demons here are doing the same stuff to us. The only difference was that the demons had these like tongues that were like flickering out. And I've noticed that now, like watching TV, like the demons always like, you'll see the reptilian guys like flicking their tongue out. But they're all basically the same team and doing the same thing, is what he was showing me. And I had never seen it in that way before that. But then I saw this video about the Anasazi and started seeing, you know, like that was the end of the 3030 timeline because they're painted in red. But these are the same guys, you know, and that the Anasazi, this video that I was watching of them, they were talking about like how they found all these bones and it looked like they had turned into cannibals and like ate each other. Well, I honestly think that's from this portal that I've been talking about, that cave from Ascension. I think that they were putting these fake doll parts through there and pushing them in through that portal, and they look real when they come out here. And that was something that I saw like over the summer. I don't think that they were like cannibals at all, because I've seen other things to do with like the Mayans. You know how they disappeared? They had like 100,000 Mayans that just disappeared. Well, at the beginning of this, he was showing me that they had these AI Mayans. Like they had a grid body and an AI body, and they were wrapping it like in this digital clay stuff. So he was showing me that there's like certain tribes here that they were using like for AI to test all this stuff. And I think that that was one of the tribes that they were like using to like test in 3030, like test like this technology. And it was affecting that area like in the past. No, I don't think that they work together, the angels and the demons. I think that they do work together because they're not stopping each other. And that's why I'm always saying the good here is like more evil than the evil, because they're not doing anything to stop the evil, but they're playing a game of war together, you know? So yeah, they are working together, but they're playing this game of ascension. And that's why I'm saying we're ending like the unending game, because they won't stop it. They're like profiting from it. They love it, you know. But it's a game that they never win, and they go insane from it. You can see it now. I mean, Trump never used to cuss. That's one thing that I've always noticed about him. Now all of a sudden he's cussing all the time. And he's this weird, you know, doppelganger of Trump. Like nobody, I just don't believe any of their shit on the black screen anymore. I don't. And they're just getting weirder and weirder, and this is what they want. They want this they want to program us with this archonic apocalypse, and they want everybody to go through it. So I'm going to be by myself. I'm shutting everything off again. I'm getting out of this. And I'm just calling out what I've already seen and letting the characters that I know here, that I've been through Ascension before, and I know them from before, that I'm not playing this game. And some of them I don't even like really know if I know them before. I think that they're getting like these scripts. That's what they're working for, is like wanting to do this next layer Ascension and have a part in it. Like have a script tied to it. Like they're really wanting that. Bye, Jared. So good to see you, hun. Yeah, it is all theater, and I don't appreciate acting like at all. Like I don't like scripted realities. The only time that I liked it is when I was with the Aeon and could trust them like completely. And we were doing these like small dream scripted realities because we were able to go back in. We were playing with purpose, you know what I mean? And we were doing it with consent, and we were experimenting on ourselves and with people that we trusted. That's the only way that you ever expand or learn anything. You don't learn from experimenting on another being without them knowing. You don't learn shit from that. That's torture. That's an invasion of privacy and free will and everything. And you don't learn from it. That's why we don't have one single cure here. Not one. Our medical system has not one cure because they're testing on other people, and it's theater, you know, like everything that they talk about is theater. They're not really healers. Nobody, just everything about this place is about testing on other people and doing all these experiments on other things and watching through other people and having something else tell you what something is. It's all about that creating a simulation of belief, not actually knowing or doing anything about anything. Yeah, my boyfriend, he had stents put in his heart over the summer, and it was like so obvious that it was just like a big huge energy harvest. But the first doctor that he went to said that he had to have like major heart surgery in 2 weeks, and he called me. So I dropped my boyfriend off. He told me that it was just like he just had to go in and they were going to look to see if they could put stents in, and that it was no big deal. And it was like 5 in the morning, and I was like, "Are you sure you don't want me to wait with you?" And he was like, "No, it's not a big deal. Seriously, they're going to do it, and then I'll call you and you can pick me up." So then I get the call from the doctor telling me, no, he's got to have like open heart surgery in 2 weeks. And this is right. It was like a day or two after I did my last video 3 months ago that I did on here. And I was trying to get to my 40 days and nights thing. Well, this is what happened the next day. And he was like, he has to have major surgery. And I was like, oh my God. And he's like, do you have family that you can call? And I'm like, are you doing it now? He's like making it super dramatic right then. And I'm like, no, it's not right now, is it? And then anyway, so he gets home, and I called his sister, and she was being a bitch to me. She's like, saying all this stuff that you would never say to anybody in that situation. It was a huge energy harvest. Well, ended up he only had to have stunts. And I'm sitting there thinking about like all their wording that they use because it was just so weird. Like the guy that did, we ended up going to see in Kansas City, his daughter and that heart surgeon, his their daughters were really good friends, like in high school. And he was just acting like this doctor, like on a soap opera or something. Even my boyfriend was like, "What is up with the weirdness here? Like, why are they acting like actors?" And then we started going through like how, it's like prescription and like their how they call it theater, like surgery, their stage and theater and stuff like that. And it was just very, very weird knowing what I do now and being in that situation because I haven't been like around anything that like that since I woke up. I've had to go to the ER a couple times when this started, but I don't know, this was like in a coherent state for me, and it was really weird to see them acting like that. And the nurses were like, they were really good to him, and it was a really nice hospital, but they were just very odd, like overly motherly and just all this stuff, like talking to me like I'm 5. And I'm like, I hate this system so much. Well, even more than money, I think it's that they love their status. You know what I mean? They love to be the one to tell you what is going on here. Like I was telling Jake the other day, I woke up and that Yoda guy said, "Yeah, they use a number you use lead and a pencil because they want to lead you, and it's number 2 because they want to make you number 2." And that's what they want. They want us to feel like we're number 2, but we're the ones that have access to our healing inside. So anybody that's trying to make you feel less than or not help you get to that level freely and through yourself is trying to take your power away from you. You know what I mean? Like there's times when we do need outer help and we need somebody to help us right then. But I'm talking like on a true level to really, really get to the root of your personal healing. That's all you. And anyone that helps you should be doing that freely and out of trust, like it should be coming from their heart. If somebody's charging for something, they get connected to things that they can't back up and change. You know what I mean? That is like rife for if they see that something that they're doing is actually not beneficial, it's really difficult for them to just say, "Oh, I'm wrong," and take that whole entire thing out of whatever method they're using. And you can only do that so much. So if you see everything that you're doing is wrong and you've already made this huge successful business, or even if it's just getting you by, that tie to that money is going to override the truth that you're seeing. 99.9% of the time, people are not just going to quit what they're doing because they see that it's wrong if they're making a really good living at it. And when you tie your spiritual gifts with that, that's selling your soul. And that's why I always had like this huge responsibility weighing on me to do with any of this and like the spiritual healing kind of thing. And I'm like, well, if they will do that without being 1,000,000%, sure that what they're doing, and I know like that they're not. I've never seen one. That's the whole thing. Like, you healing somebody is the payment. Like, what is a greater payment than that? And that's what Jesus was saying. Like, you will always have what you need when you are doing this for the right reasons and for the true living God. You will always have what you need. And I found that to be so true. Like, I've had nothing and then I've had everything that I needed. Like, I live very well. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't be living well, but I think the work that you do reflects in where you're living. And even if I didn't have anything, I know that I would have what I needed that day. And I would be grateful. But I know that all of us should be living without any need or concern. I mean, we should not be in this situation in the first place. It's all manufactured uh, necessity that we have going on here. Well, good. You should be questioning them. And I do. I mean, I still go just mostly because well, mostly because my boyfriend, like he's like, you need to go get checked out. And I'm like, okay, I will, but we know what's going on. And I just quit taking my thyroid medicine like 5 months ago just to see if there was a difference and then get my levels checked. So I'm going like next week to get my levels checked again. But every time I go, it's just so random and the prescription has never done anything for me. And the prescription itself takes from your bones, like your healthy bones, and that's what it uses to like help your thyroid. So which one is more important? You know what I mean? Like they don't have anything that works. Yes, service to others should be free, and that should be the payment. And I think that's the only way that you ever get to like true healing. You don't get it through profit or and you don't get and prophecy, I think, is like a big one that is messed humanity up big time too. Like listening to other prophets and false prophets and all that. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Okay. Where are we at here? Does anybody want to come on and talk for a minute? I think I'm going to write out a lot more to do with what I was seeing at the very beginning of this for tomorrow because it just started really coming. It was right before I got on here. I was like doing my hair to get on here. I was blow drying my hair and I was just like seeing all this stuff come together from the beginning. So I know what I'm doing here is like really tying my it's getting rid of all this crap that I've been wanting to say for a long time. So thank you for being here. It's helping me and I hope it helps you guys on some level. Okay. Well, oh yeah, in this one page on Realm Magic, or the Amber Chronicles, I wanted to show you guys real quick. Because this is what I see. This book is really good. If you guys have, if you like reading, this is actually 10 different books, but you can buy them separate. These are such good books. Like if you're into all this astral stuff, I mean, this is like real true, like what I call ascension stories. So, but this is a really good one. And I need to get back into it because I put it off for so long, but I know that's why. Okay, it says Sign of the Unicorn for Jadwin and his demiurge, not to forget Kikahaha. And I have, so they know about like the demiurge, ascension, these writers and some people, and how we used it like in different ascension stories. Hey, is it oh gosh. Smoking Joe, is that you? I don't know if that's you or not, but if it is, let me know. Uh anyway, this book is really good. And what they do, like, so he starts to get his memory back in this realm. And this realm, again, for him is like where he gets the amnesia. So it's just like us. But then he starts being able to get back into the realm of Amber. And he's driving in his car one day, and then it just starts to turn into the astral. He's with his sister. And both of them, they're both like aeons or whatever, and they're able to like travel into these different realms. And all of a sudden the sky starts to turn like into the astral, like cartoonish kind of, you know, art style. And that's where I see us like really soon. Like I'm feeling that come in. And that's what I was talking about today. I feel like this realm of magic, when I drive, I can feel like the different pressures of the different dimensions. And it feels like I'm in a ball driving my car. And each three of those dimensions will affect my electronics like in different ways. Like the one that I'm in mostly now, it'll feel like I'm almost like flying, like floating. And then the heavier, more electric one, it'll feel like it does, like it'll damage things. I can't even tell you how many coffee makers we have to replace. Like when I go through this stuff, we go through like a coffee maker every other month, and I'm not kidding. Because it messes up like the things that I use. Yeah. It's called the Great Book of Amber, and if you look on Amazon, it should show you. And I have a couple other books I'll put on here for you guys. Actually, I should go get that now. I'll show you guys a few other books that I have if you're interested. But yeah, there's a handful of books here that I would call like ascension books, and that I've read personally, and then a handful of like movies that I've always called ascension movies, like The Wizard of Oz, of course, and then that Congress, The Fountain, If anybody else has anything. Oh, okay. Sorry. I know a guy called Smoking Joe. I don't know if he smokes, but I just saw S. Joe. Well, where do I know you from? Or do I? Do I know you from Twitter or something? Uh, what else do I have here? Deepak Chopra had really, really good books before he got famous. Like if you can find his old novels, there's one here. I'll get these and put them on. His older ones before he became like the self-help guru were really freaking good. And then Philip K. Dick, of course, you know, his The Exegesis of Philip K. Dick, that's a really good one. What else do I have here? Oh, Lord of Demons. That's another Roger Zelazny book. I haven't read it yet, but I've read like enough to know that it's really good. And then Chris Coffer, he does like I'll get this one to show you guys too. I'm just upstairs grabbing them. I like Anne Rice too. But only a few of hers. I don't know, I'm picky about her. But yeah, Philip K. Dick, like all of his stuff. Okay. Hold on. Let me grab these and I'll show you guys. Oh, great. Sorry guys, I'm trying to grab these and walk through my house and not lose you. But yeah, I think I'm gonna get back into reading big time right now. And get ready to go be on my own. Oh yeah, and I have a bunch of books in my drawer. But I used to read all the time. Like when I turned off when this first started, I would read instead of watch TV. And that's how I noticed that media works with everything, even the books. Like the words and stuff would change with my thoughts. And everything that I was reading at the time would have like things to do with me. Like I was reading this guy at the time, and I was really trying, because I had read that you're supposed to keep your consciousness clean, and clear, like when you start waking up. So I was trying to like read a lot of books that weren't like childish, but just more innocent. So I found this guy, Chris Colfer, and he has like A Tale of Magic. There's like 3 different books. Here, I'll write it down. But if you're into like, it's like for young adults, but he's really good. It's very like fairy tale, kind of like The Tale of Magic. There's 3 different books, but I was reading them and he was like, so that year in 2020, the Chiefs in Kansas City went to the Super Bowl and the Royals went to what am I thinking? I'm not into sports, but they went into the they won whatever it is. And he was talking about the Royals, the Kansas City Royals in here and stuff like that. And it was just like random shit that would like have to do with the area that I was living in, like while I was reading and everything. But the actual sentence would start changing with whatever this Yoda guy was saying to me. Like the words on the page would actually change. World Series, yes. Dina, thank you so much, hon. Hi, hon. Good to see you. Oh, you've been on here before? Well, good to see you again, hon. So these are really good books. Eyes to See. I don't know if you're into that. I love like fantasy kind of stuff, obviously, but I'm really into that. And then this one is Rogers Zelazny, The Lord Demon. And I've only read like the very beginning of it, but it's like, look, it's like an ascension story too. See how he has the dragon and the little world like in the bottle? He makes like these little worlds in there, and that reminds me a lot of like the Aeon orbs that I'm talking about. It looks a lot like Nirvana that I saw Buddha in the very beginning. So this is a great book. It's called Lord Demon. Oh, am I writing this out? Oh, sorry. That's the title of it. And I'll write his name. And then Deepak Chopra's Lords of Light. This is really hard to find, but these books are my all-time favorite. Like, I love these. And there's another one to go with it. The Angel is Near. These are freaking amazing. And I read these like right when I started waking up. So it's Lords of Light, and The Angel is Near. But these are all, and he wrote it with somebody else. And this one he wrote with somebody else too. So I thought that was kind of weird because they are so super deep. And I'm like, why aren't the people that, they have these guys as like the front author of them, and then they ended up being like super famous. So I don't know who the people that they wrote them with, but I think that's probably more the actual person that was experiencing these things, because it's definitely people that have experienced these type of things. It's way too deep. And then Deepak Chopra, he does a book on Jesus and Buddha. And they're both like really, really good. They're kind of like novel, he added like a lot of Nag Hammadi influence with Jesus, and he talks about like the scenes and all of that. But it's more true to like Jesus's story than what I've read in most books, because he talks about the scenes. Like Jesus goes to meet this group of the scenes, and they have this huge like mural that they've all drawn. Like they're all like monks, and they drew this huge mural, and they were like, we've known that you were coming for a really long time. And then the whole entire mural like starts to come alive for Jesus. He's looking at it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's the true stuff there. But then Anne Rice, this is Pandora, and this is like, I don't like a lot of her stuff, but this book I really like of hers. And then Philip K. Dick, he has like a set of 3 or 4 books that all go together, but I can only get this one because my hands were full. But this one is the Transmigration of Timothy Archer. But there's 3 different books, and Valis is the one where he gets hit with the beam from Sirius, like what I'm talking about, what happened to me. So that's why I mentioned him yesterday, that he looks like he's from our Aeon family line, or like connected to Big G. There's something very familiar, like with his eyes, that look the same as me. Well, you're welcome, Eyes to See. I hope that helps, just like to get back, to get into a really good book that's like these topics that we really gravitate towards, instead of just always watching something on TV through the Black Mirror, I think is really good. And it's difficult to do, but because we just want somebody to do it for us. But once you start to get into it, that really starts to shift your mind into that visual, get your visual skills back and going. If you have something good, like a good fantasy that's deep and spiritual. So I love it. Yeah, keeps you away from the scrying mirror, exactly. Yep. Let me see if I have anything else. Oh, I found this at the place that I was living. It was there. It's Bullfinch's Mythology. But this is actually, I'm glad I got this out. It has all that stuff about like Pegasus, the basilisk. It is a really good book. Here, I'll put this up here. This is a very, very good book if you're into all of the archetypes, and it's called The Age of Fable. But it talks about the phoenix, and how it's basically like what they want Jesus for. Like it rises and dies every 500 years, or it wants to use the Aeon here, like over and over for that. And I'm like, that's another thing in our to do with this pagan stuff that I'm working on, like breaking the hexes for, like using Jared that was just on here. He told me that he had a dream about me, that he was in a Walmart parking lot, and he found this stone, and it had like the universe in it. And he picked it up and he looked at it, and he saw me as like a 5-year-old girl, and I was like on a TV show prophesizing like to all these people, like in a different timeline. And then he said that all these guards came and got him and he had to fight them like in the Walmart parking lot. And I'm like, well, that's exactly what I'm like doing all this and talking about it out loud, because nobody should be put through this kind of stuff. And we shouldn't be having prophets and everything directing, like, we shouldn't be having this go on anymore. And it's horrific for the people that get hit with all of this stuff. And also, it's like creating these religious cults and things like that. So that's like part of what the spells that I'm breaking, like really deep, hard stuff to do with the Aeon. I'm reading Armada from the Ready Player One author. Oh, I would probably like that. Ready Player One came out like not long before this all happened with me, and I was like, just pretty much everything like that has to do with all the simulation stuff. But they love the phoenix. They always say, from the ashes we will rise. Yeah, and they want to keep doing this over and over and over and over again. And that's why I really try to go into like how I see true life. It's not because I want to like tell people this is how it is for you. I just want to expand our minds a little bit more out of here and get imaginations going and away from all this fear narrative that they're really, trying to press on everybody. I'm not saying this is how it is and I'm creating this world, and this is how it is for everybody. I'm just saying this is how I've seen it, and to take time to really try and get your mind and your visualization open. I'm just trying to like maybe inspire, I guess, for people to take time out. And I just know how hard it is. I know how hard it is to like even get your mind to think that way anymore because we're so programmed. But it's amazing once you break through. And to at least try, I think, is well worth it. I mean, don't feel bad if you can't get there or if you just don't feel it right now. I'm not, I'm just saying it's well worth a try to like try and create your own. You don't have to go into the astral. You can create your own. And that's what we should be doing. We shouldn't be going in asking these entities to guide us or for help. We should be creating our own reality. Anyway, guys, all right. Well, I'm going to get off for the night and get a good night's sleep. And I will try to write things down. I'm going to post like maybe 30 minutes before I come on. So if you have anything that you want me to try and think about and go over, I'm really like writing things down now because this all started coming to me before I got on here. So I'm like wanting to get off of here right now and put it all together. So hopefully I have a lot of good stuff to talk about tomorrow because I feel like I cleared a lot and it's all coming to me now and I'm kind of excited about it. So thank you guys, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night.